Hello, everybody. So good to see you all here today at Heat Press Nation Live. I'm very excited to be here because we are already like knee deep. We're beyond knee deep. We're like, what was that? Waist deep. We're chest deep into our Black Friday sale. That's really exciting. Of course, I'm talking about something totally different today, but I would be a bad friend if I didn't share our Black Friday sale with you guys. And we have like a minute to kill. You know, we're gonna let everybody tune in, so I don't wanna get into the webinar just yet. I don't wanna get into the juicy details just yet. So while everybody's kind of joining us, we're all tuning in, do me a favor, tell me where you're tuning in from, comment below. Even though I have like my computer, I have like my whole setup here, I still use the iPad. I'm used to using the iPad for the comments. You'll see the studio behind me. Yeah, so usually like we have the team here, but today it's just me. No, just kidding. The rest of our team, they're really busy working on other stuff right now, but yeah, we're doing it in webinar format, even though we're live on Facebook. So we're trying something new today. Really exciting, and I see everybody's tuning in. Good to see you all. My pal Jesse Gibson, how's it going? Good to see you. We got Pam from Texas. Sophia's saying hello. We got Shah Rhonda saying hello. April's saying hello. Fong Vu says hello, Jared, and everyone from Cali. Fellow Californian, I'm assuming. Good to see you. And we already got the questions. I love it. I love it. Takira is asking about a printer that's good for sublimation. I'm going to get to your question once we get in. We're going to give everybody about another, We'll give them about another 30 seconds to tune in. Giovanni from Chicago. Bridget from Addis, Louisiana. Wow, everybody's tuning in today. Super excited to have you all here. Let's see, where are my pals on YouTube? I also got my YouTube buddies. Step up to the mic with Mike says hello from Philly. Lydia saying hi. Got Four Corners from Mobile, Alabama, and Tina from Star, Idaho. Very, very cool. I'm very excited to share with you guys today. And we have something really neat. Well, I hope it's neat. So today I get to talk about one of my favorite topics. I get to talk about sublimation. And you're like, oh, you talk about sublimation a lot. But today's episode, we're really gearing it towards those of you who might be beginners, newcomers, or maybe you're on the fence. Maybe you're considering a sublimation setup and you're just like, is this really what I need? Is this what I should be doing? And so maybe you're not sure, you want a little bit more info. That's what we got for you today. So today's okay, full disclosure, like I'm a preacher, right? At my church, and so I was right about to say today's message, but we're not we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're talking about, so yeah, it's habit. It's habit. So give me just a second here. I'm gonna go ahead and share something with you guys, and there we go. Okay, so today's topic, we're going to be talking about, where are we? There we are. Sublimation 101. That's what we're talking about today. Now, really quick, even though I have that slide up, what I really want to show you guys is our Black Friday sale. So if you go to heatpressnation.com, I'm just going to refresh the page here. What? Yes, you see we are already on our Black Friday sale. You can see we have different things. We have Sawgrass. Inks are 20% off. What in the world? Of course, we have inkjet and laser heat transfer paper, 10% off. Okay, this is a huge one, and I'm going to get into sublimation right now, but our Sublicraft items are 10% off, and these are already our most affordable mugs anyways. And then we got bunches and bunches of heat presses that are on sale right now. If you want to know, if you would like to be made aware of what's going on, you could text the word heat to 20198. I had to double check my notes. Text the word heat to 20198 and you'll get text updates on all the stuff that's going to be on sale. Even though we have a lot of stuff on sale, our real Black Friday sale, or I should say the final round of this Black Friday sale, starts next week on Monday. So you don't want to miss it. Now these sales are while supplies last, so if there's something that you've been waiting for to go on sale and you see it on sale now, go ahead and jump on that. But yeah, the sale is going to run through Cyber Week, which is the week after Black Friday. So this is our biggest sale of the year. Honestly, it's our biggest sale since before the pandemic. So like, I'm really excited about this. Yeah, and so yeah, so that's that. We're gonna go ahead and put that away for a second. And all right. So it looks like everybody's here. Again, if you have questions, please put them in the comments. I have my pal Ronnie joining me. She's gonna be sharing some links with everybody. Now, if you are in our Facebook group, which actually, sorry, one last thing I do want to say is if you are in our Facebook group, and to get there, you can go to, I got to set a new homepage, heat.press/FB group. That's going to take you right to our Facebook creators group. Heat Press Nation creators, you can join the group. In this group, I'm going to share a link to download all of the slides that you'll be seeing here today. So if you want all these slides with links and all that cool stuff, you can just head over to our Facebook group after this. I'll be posting that. All right, enough of the prelim. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. So today we're talking about Sublimation 101. Real quick, let's just rip this Band-Aid right off. What is sublimation? Here's the boring definition, all right? So all you nerds might get excited over this, but sublimation, the boring scientific definition, is the transition of a substance directly from the solid to the gas phase without passing through the intermediate liquid phase. If you see me reading, it's because there's no way in heck I was going to memorize that, all right? That's the boring definition of sublimation, but then sublimation in the context that we use it in, which is garment decorators or your, gifts and we'll just call it product decoration, is sublimation is printing a transfer with your sublimation system, then heat pressing that transfer onto something for a more permanent customization with photo quality images in full vivid color. Slightly less boring, slightly more salesy. And you might be wondering, well, what does that mean for me? It means you get to print stuff and then heat press it, and it looks beautiful. Okay, let's be a little more real. How does it work? Again, this is the science part that I had to have it dumbed down for me a little bit. And so I'm questioning any of your intelligence, but in the event that you're like me and you need to have these things kind of broken down a little bit, I got you. So here's how it works. The sublimation dye, actually I'll make this bigger really quick so you guys can read it better. There we go. Okay, hopefully that's bigger on your screen. So how does it work? The dye, when you print out your images, the dry printed ink turns into a gas dye when heated. So yes, the printed ink actually turns into a gas dye. There's no special film that traps it. You're not printing onto like a gooey substance and pressing it on there. The dye turns into, the ink turns into a gas dye when you heat it up. Now, the pressure is required to make sure that the gas dye goes into the surface of your substrate or your blank. I say substrate, it's a technical term for it, but we'll just say blank. You see, because a gas, it'll go everywhere, right? So the pressure is required to press that dye, make sure it doesn't escape out of the sides, and it goes right into your blank. Now, the dye only works with specially coated items or poly materials like polyester fabrics. I included this little whatever you call it, this molecule diagram. I don't even know what exactly it is, but that's technically what it is. I don't even understand it. I just put it there just so I could seem smart. even though I'm not actually that smart. So that's how sublimation works. That's the technical part of it. In the real sense, you print it, and I'm going to show you this right now, by the way. I have my SG500 printer right here. I have a heat press over there. Actually, do I got my heat press? Can you see that? Oh yeah, there we go. I have a heat press right there, and it actually has a heat press on it, just ready for the demonstration, but we're not, we're not quite there yet. So but we'll get there. Yeah, so basically you print it out on the heat press, you print it out on your printer, you take that printout to your garment, you heat press it to the garment, and you're done. And that might seem a little simple, a little too simple, but don't worry, it is. It is that simple. And I'm going to show you, but again, before we get to the demo, we do want to talk about what you're going to need. And before I move any further, I'm going to check for questions. Okay. Tina says, yay, I really want to know how to make shirts. Awesome. I'm going to do that right now. That's awesome. Elizabeth is saying, what if you're not on FB? That is a great question. So if you're not on Facebook and you would like a download of the slides that I'm sharing, you can email me. It's Jared, it's Jared, at heatpressnation.com. So Jared, Jared, at heatpressnation.com. You can email me directly and I'll send that on over to you. DB saying, what's up from Canada? Hey, what's up? That's super cool. We're international today. Right on. Okay, let's check real quick. I'm going to check on Facebook, see if we have any questions coming in from our Facebook pals. How are we going on Facebook? Looks like, oh yeah, okay, there we go. Oh, Melissa, hey, Melissa, you made it. Thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, so we have some questions about pressing, and I really want to save those to the end. Jake Simpson is asking, can you ever have too much pressure when sublimating? Yes. Most sublimation transfers only require a medium pressure. So yeah, you don't really need to overpress too much for any garments. Like if you're working with, what I found is if you're working with like your, the new skinny tumblers, if you overpress, you could leave an imprint of the heat tape in the actual tumbler. So if you're seeing that, you need to lighten up on the pressure. With the t-shirts, if you're using 100% polyester, you could like smash it and it's just not looking good. So yes, you can have too much pressure. I'm not sure which heat press is the best fit for me. Susan, okay, well I'm gonna be talking about heat presses in just a moment, so stick around. Verina's asking, is there a sublimation printer that prints white? Unfortunately not. You would need a white toner sublimation printer for that. Oh, Susan, she's saying, I would like to learn about sublimating on wood. What do you use under the sublimation? So I'm actually I have a wood panel here that I'll be talking about in a little bit. So make sure you stick around for that. Carolyn's asking, do I know anything about Canva or what shall I use? Inkscape is really hard for me. Canva is cool. You just got to make sure that you're formatting things to the right size. So I will get there in just a moment. We had a lot of technical questions today. So I'll get to the tech questions a little bit later, but for all of our newbies, I'm just going to cover really quick the equipment, what you need to get started, and then for all you heavy users out there, I got you guys. I'm going to get to your questions. So anyway, so we're talking about what equipment do you need to start off with. You're going to need a sublimation printer with sublimation ink. Now, in the notes, well, you see right there, it says click here for blah, 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 blah. I wrote a full blog, all right? And I don't want to read the whole blog here live because you didn't tune in for a reading session. But there's a few reasons why at Heat Press Nation we choose Sawgrass exclusively. And that's because it's the best choice for beginners, intermediates, experts. There are other options out there. Like adding, someone asked, or I think it was like the first question, like what do I think of the, I don't have a question here in front of me anymore, but what do I think about the Epson EcoTank? It's a great inkjet printer. So what people do is they get sublimation ink and they put it into a regular inkjet printer, not a sublimation printer, a regular inkjet printer, and they convert it. It comes with a few problems with that. It can be messy, but my biggest issues is that you're not getting the support, the sublimation support, usually from the ink suppliers. You're definitely not going to get any sublimation support from Epson. Not only that, you have to download the right color profiles, import that into Photoshop. If you're good with that, go for it. Don't get me wrong. And then, you have to, you also have to make sure that you're printing every 1 to 3 days. so the nozzles don't dry up. All right, so all that, so the episode, and again, you can check out this blog. I went into detail, but with Sawgrass, it's just easy. It is easy. It's pain-free. The Sawgrass performs its own self-maintenance, so if you go on vacation for 2 weeks, you're not going to come back to clogged print heads. The Sawgrass also has stellar support, not only by Sawgrass, but by your pals here at Heat Press Nation. We offer free lifetime tech support on all the products we sell. So if you buy a Sawgrass, you know that we will help you get it set up. Between us and Sawgrass, you have like 2 teams of support ready to help you out with your issues. We'll make sure that's taken care of for you. Sawgrass, of course, comes with the right print and color management, so your colors come out nice and true. It's, again, overall, Sawgrass is the best choice, and this is not a Sawgrass infomercial, but we do use them exclusively for a reason. So if you go on our website, you check out the Sawgrass printers, that's what you're going to need. You're going to need the printer and the ink, which leads us to a big question, which I do want to cover today. So I'm gonna blow this one up here on your screen, so you could read the little points a little bit better. So when you're purchasing a Sawgrass SG500 or SG1000, you have 2 options for your ink system. You can go with Sublijet UHD, which is what you're seeing on the left, and then you can also go with Caesar EasySubli UHD, which you're going to see on the right. And I'm realizing that the watermark of this video is blocking that last, I'm sorry, the last point on the Caesar EasySubli. Okay, so here's the breakdown on which ink you should choose. And I'm just going to take a minute or 2 on this, so I hope you guys bear with me. So, Sublijet UHD, that's like the standard ink. That is the kind of universal general purpose go-to for sublimation ink. This is, honestly, it is probably the best looking sublimation ink I've encountered, period. It's fantastic. This ink is formulated by the genius scientists, my pals over there at Sawgrass. They've formulated this to work amazing, so the colors come out nice and true. It's going to look best on traditional substrates. So that first point in the left column. Now, when I say traditional substrates, I mean coffee mugs, photo panels. Actually, I'm going to grab some just so you can get an idea. I'm going to grab some blanks so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But it's going to be like coffee mugs, photo panels, these skinny tumblers. What else do we got? We got mouse pads. I'm going to bring some on camera right now so you can see what exactly I mean. These are what we consider traditional substrates. So this is like, these tall, skinny tumblers that everybody's getting into. This is a key hanger. We actually just did a video on this key hanger. Really, really cool. So this is like a thick wood panel. This is considered a traditional substrate. We also have coffee. This is a tiny little latte mug. Not latte, I'm sorry, this is an espresso mug. Isn't this cute? Like, it makes me look like a giant. I feel super big. Coffee mugs like this, you get beautiful full color graphics on there. And then, mouse pads. These are considered traditional substrates. They are blanks that are made specifically for sublimation. And so that's what I mean when I say traditional substrates. So going back, so Sublijet UHD is going to look best on traditional substrates. And then it's going to look good on the EasySubli printable HTV. So now this is a whole other thing, and I have a sample right here. So now EasySubli printable HTV. Now you remember how I said a few slides ago, remember how I said that with sublimation, it only works on polyester garments? So this is a 100% cotton yellow t-shirt. And this is it's really bright in here. And it's like reflecting that brightness. But anyways, so EasySubli is a printable vinyl. This is how you're able to use your sublimation printer to print on cotton garments. You print on the vinyl, and then you press the vinyl to the shirt. So you're not sublimating directly onto the shirt, as you're about to see in a moment. You're going to be sublimating onto vinyl. You're going to print on the vinyl, and then that vinyl is going to go on the shirt. So it's not super soft. It has a little bit of a texture to it because it is vinyl. But you are able to use your Sawgrass printer to print onto cotton garments. So there's the advantage there. So when it comes to Sublijet UHD, it's going to look the best on your traditional substrates, and it's still going to look pretty good on EasySubli printable HTV. Now on the other hand, all right, and I don't want to confuse anybody, but Caesar EasySubli UHD, so now we're talking about the ink. The Caesar, we're on the right column now, the Caesar EasySubli ink, it's going to look the best on the printable HTV. So this ink was formulated to give you the best results on this. On the printable HTV, your graphics are going to look best with the EasySubli ink. This is EasySubli printable vinyl using the EasySubli ink. So the ink was paired for the vinyl, so that it's going to look best. It's going to look best that way. Now the EasySubli ink, you can still use it for your traditional substrates. So on the left, regular ink, I'll call it regular. Sublijet looks best on traditional, looks good on EasySubli. On the right, EasySubli looks best on EasySubli and still looks good on traditional substrates. Here's how you should make your decision, in my opinion. On the left, choose Sublijet UHD if you're going to focus on traditional substrates or if you don't plan on using the EasySubli printable HTV. If you see the EasySubli printable vinyl, you're like, oh, I don't even want that. Fine, perfect. There's your answer. Just pick the Sublijet ink. Now, if you want to choose the Caesar EasySubli UHD, choose that if your main focus is going to be garments using the EasySubli printable HTV. So if your main focus is that printable vinyl, you're going to want to go for the EasySubli ink. If not, you're going to want to go with the standard Sublijet UHD ink. And I'm going to pause here for questions, because I know EasySubli, like which ink do I choose? That always brings a lot of questions. Natasha says, I had both EasySubli ink and Sublijet for her SG-1000, and she likes the Sublijet way more. That's my personal, I'm of that persuasion as well. I personally do prefer the Sublijet ink. Samuel Oliver is asking, how does it feel on the shirt? I'm going to make a sublimation t-shirt right now. This EasySubli, it feels just like regular vinyl. So if you've used heat transfer vinyl before, you know it's lightweight, but if you have a lot of solid coverage, it could feel a little heavy. It feels like vinyl because it is vinyl. Let's see. Any other questions here? What type of programs do you have to work with for your printers? So that's a great question. We actually have Sawgrass. Sawgrass has its own program called Creative Studio, which I'm going to lightly cover. I personally prefer Photoshop, and I would recommend using Photoshop because Photoshop, your skills in Photoshop, you could take them to other industries and other applications besides sublimation. So I always say it's best to learn something that you could use in other places as well. If you use the Sawgrass Creative Studio, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing. Lots of templates, super cool, but it's a closed system, so you can't use whatever skills you learn there. You're not really going to be able to take them anywhere else. And I'm a jack of all trades, so I'm all about taking skills to other places. Do you have to use Sawgrass Creative Studio to print? No, but you should be using Sawgrass Print Manager, which I'll show you in a minute. We're going to get to the process right now. And so let's keep going, though. Oh, wrong one. Oh, whoops. There. I clicked on a link. There we go. You're also going to need sublimation paper. Again, on the left, we have regular paper. I personally prefer TextPrint XPHR, or sorry, now it's called DT Lite. And then on the right, printable HTV and mask. That's if you're going to be using, again, the printable vinyl. You're going to need an even and consistent source of heat and pressure. This is why we don't recommend using an iron for sublimation. It's very hard to get that even and consistent pressure with an iron. It is impossible to do these bad boys with an iron. You will never, ever. If you could successfully sublimate one of these with an iron, I will take you out to a steak dinner at your steakhouse of choice. I'm not joking about that. It is literally impossible to fully sublimate one of these. Watch, all you guys are going to go try it just for the steak dinner. Don't waste your time. It is impossible to sublimate one of these with an iron. The other day, I tried to sublimate a t-shirt with an iron. It was very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. The sublimation ink, you have to get it up to about 385 to 400 degrees, and you have to do that for about 60 seconds. And not only that, sublimation ink is sensitive to heat, so if you overcook it, the inks will actually burn and discolor. And in fact, if you're noticing that your sublimation prints are turning, the blacks are like turning brown and dingy, it's because you're burning it. So you want to either lower your temperature or your time or both. Because it's sensitive to heat, when you're using an iron and you have to do multiple presses, any places where there's overlap and a certain piece of your transfer was overcooked, you'll see like a line or like a strip where those colors have burnt. So it just does not look good. It's in theory it's possible to use an iron, but in practice it's impossible. Cannot be done. That's why we recommend an even and consistent source of heat and pressure, aka a heat press. This is where the question comes up. On the left, you'll see the clamshell heat press, and on the right, you're going to see a swing away heat press. If you're going to be doing lots of thick items, like this right here, this is a key hanger. Again, it has I don't know if you can see these little brass hooks to hold your keys. This is super cool, and it's about 3/8 to a 1/2 inch thick. This I could do in a clamshell, but it's much easier in a swing away heat press. The reason is because on a clamshell, the pressure kind of comes down like this. So if you have a thick item, your heating element is going to hit the back first before it hits the front, because you know the angle. Now this is okay for t-shirts because t-shirts are super thin, so when it comes down, it's flat. But when you're working with thicker items, you know it's going to be a little bit harder to get that even pressure. It's possible in theory. It's just difficult. So if you plan on doing thicker items like this and like the wood panel that I'm about to show you, you're going to want to go with the swing away heat press. That's going to be the better option because the pressure comes straight up and down. So you're getting that nice even pressure. No worries about the angle of a clamshell. The swing away, which you're going to see in a moment. I'll be demonstrating on a swing away today. You'll see that. Now the mug press, this has a curved heating element, so it wraps around these curved surfaces. It's the only way to do this. We do have oven wraps, but that's a whole other topic, and I'm not going to talk about those today, unless you really want me to. You can ask a question if you want. Okay, compatible substrates. A substrate, again, the blank item that you're sublimating. You do have to have compatible substrates. This is not your run-of-the-mill Dollar Tree espresso mug. This mug was coated with a special coating at the factory level to make it able to accept the sublimation dye. If you try to do a regular Dollar Tree mug, it's not going to work. I've taken many of those phone calls like, hey, I bought the Sawgrass printer, I bought the Signature Series heat press, and it's not working on my mugs. And I'm like, well, what kind of mugs do you have? Oh, I got them at Dollar Tree. There's the answer. It's not going to work. So for anything like these mouse pads, like these tumblers, you can't just do any regular, oh, I dropped something. You can't use any regular run-of-the-mill item. It does have to be specifically made for sublimation. And you see here in these pictures, if you zoom in, actually I will zoom in. We got lots of stuff. You see puzzles there, photo panels. That is a dog bowl. And yes, that's a sock. There's a mug. There's like license plates, photo plaques. It's kind of hard to see, but if you want to pause this if you're watching later, go for it. But yeah, that's the equipment that you're going to need. Now, talking about t-shirts. Okay, if you're going to sublimate t-shirts, we do recommend that they are 100% polyester. The 3 t-shirts that you're seeing on screen, and actually let me move my fat face out of here so you can see, there we go, boom, boom, boom. So those t-shirts that you see, and I labeled them, these are after one wash. One wash. They actually looked a little bit better before I washed them. So sublimation, again, works best on white or very light colored 100% polyester. Do you see how vibrant that center t-shirt, the graphic looks there? It's beautiful. Like it's really that good. And it is 1000% soft. You literally, if you touch it with your hand, you cannot feel any ink. It's the softest, most permanent, most vibrant transfer you could possibly ever put on a t-shirt. Only catch, 100% polyester. Now, if you look on the right-hand side, we have the exact same graphic on a 50-50 cotton poly t-shirt. It did look a little bit better after I pressed it, but after I washed it, and again, this photo was taken after one wash, You can see it faded out a little bit. So on the right, it still looks pretty decent actually. It's not horrible. It's just not as good as the center t-shirt, the 100% polyester. Now, if you look on the left, I don't even know if you can read it, but that one says 100% cotton. So we actually did the exact same transfer on a 100% cotton t-shirt, and that's what happened after one wash. It almost completely washed out. It looks like a ghost, like a t-shirt that a ghost would wear. So I don't know, again, I don't know the science behind why it doesn't work on cotton. It just doesn't. So this, I wanted to show you guys this example because it's very important to have a visual. Sometimes people say, well, are you sure I can't do cotton? Fine, go for it. You know, I get that question enough to where I did this wash test and I took this picture just because we get that question so much, and we had to show you. I really wanted you guys to see exactly. I got some great questions coming in. Jose is saying, what about a 65-35 poly cotton? That's actually a great option. I have a link to it. In fact, at the end, in this slideshow, there's a link to one of those, the Tultex 241. If you can get a hold of one of those shirts, they're fantastic. Those are 65% poly, 35 cotton, and they look great. To me, that's a really great, I guess, compromise. In your cotton poly blend, it'll still look pretty good, and you get a little bit of cotton in there. Rochelle saying, I've never seen 100% poly shirts on any of the wholesalers I purchased from. I thought it was 65% polyester. You know what? I have a link to a 100% polyester shirt that I'll be sharing at the end of this presentation. It's going to be the Subli VS1910, I want to say is the model. Yeah, and then the shirt that I'm using, I got this shirt that I'm about to heat press from TSC Apparel, and it's 100% polyester. And I got it from my wholesaler. Yeah. So Carolyn's saying, I don't have a sawgrass. It was too expensive. What should I use? I did the ET conversion. What design platform should I use? For that, I would recommend Photoshop. And I'm about to show you guys a full process right now. We're going to do top to bottom. I'm going to speed through it really quick. Actually, let's get through the rest of this presentation. But I'm going to show you, I use Photoshop, and I highly recommend Photoshop. This is a slightly zoomed in version, so you could really see the cotton poly. So it is faded. Now, from this point, that cotton poly, it shouldn't fade any further. Because now what you're seeing here, the image that's left is clinging onto those polyester fibers. So from this point forward, it shouldn't fade any further. And it did look a little bit better when it was fresh off the press. So if you're selling 50-50 cotton poly shirts, they're going to look pretty good right off the press. So you do want to let your customers know that they can expect a little bit of fading up until about this point after washing. But it should be stuck here. Oh, and really quick, and I should have zoomed in on this better. Do you see this little on the far right? You see that blue t-shirt? I should have taken a better picture of that. If anybody wants to know why we say white t-shirts, well, look at that blue one. That's what happens when you press on blue. I've done other tutorials on that before. Anyways, okay, moving forward, because we got a lot more material to cover. What can you make? Our top sellers are coffee mugs, t-shirts, and photo panels. But there are tons of stuff. If you go to heatpressnation.com, and I highly recommend that you do, check this out. We're going to go, we're at heatpressnation.com, go to sublimation blanks, and just click on that. These are the different categories of blank items that you can customize. There's a ton of stuff for you here. Can I zoom out a little bit? There we go. I'm going to zoom out just so we can get a better look. Look at that. So we have sheet stock, which we have, puzzles are dope. They come in the case, but there's whole businesses that are built off of custom puzzles. We have puzzles. We have mouse pads and gaming mats. Those gaming mats are new. Very, very cool. License plates. We have sublimation blank license plates. I mean, there's so much that you can do. If you're curious about what you can make, head on over to heatpressnation.com, click on sublimation blanks. It'll take you to these categories. And by the way, I really honestly thought we were going to be done with face masks by now. I live in California, in Southern California, and they're still requiring them everywhere. So this is still, I imagine these will still be selling for a little while. We have a bunch of face masks for you if you're in a state that requires them still. Of course, sublimation mugs and drinkware. Again, really quick, just want to touch that our Black Friday sale is running. So these Sublicraft mugs, yep, 10% off. And these are already the most affordable mugs we have. So you're getting an additional 10% off that. They do ship for free. By the way, one more time, they ship for free with FedEx Ground to the lower 48 states. And yeah, so to go back, to answer the question, what can you make? Just head on over to heatpressnation.com and it'll tell you. Other popular items, I'll just let you read that. Really quick, this last line, personalization is the name of the game. If you want to know how to charge more per piece, you're going to want to sell them custom. So this is, it's a fun space tumbler. Oh wait, but is that my name on there? Yes, it is. And I'm going to pay more for this because it has my name on it. Your customers are going to pay more for their products if they could put a name or their own photo or something like that on the item. So customization, because a regular space tumbler, you can get one for like 12 bucks at Target. Just a generic space theme. One with my name on it, custom, with a custom imprint up here. Dude, that like that's like $25, $35 for a custom item. So customization is the name of the game. Don't just sell generic. Well, you can if you want to, but your profit margins are going to be higher on custom work. So you definitely want to keep that in mind moving forward, because we got a lot more ground to cover. Is it profitable? This is a sample taken of a blank mug. You can see the details on the bottom using a Sublicraft. Actually, let's show it big so you guys can read it. This example is taken with an 11-ounce Sublicraft ceramic mug, sold in a case of 12. So you're paying about $2.40 a mug, using Sublijet HD ink. So this is a full color print. So this would actually use less than 30 cents of ink, but I calculate for 30 cents just to be safe. The paper is about 16 cents, 16, 17 cents. So my cost to produce, not counting labor, $2.86 in materials. Now again, this is a custom mug with a custom image on it. So I wouldn't charge, if a customer asked me to put their photo of her and her kid for a Mother's Day thing, or the dad's ordering it, or whoever's ordering it, for a custom mug, I wouldn't charge anything less than like $15, $18 for this. And that's on the low end. Like, so, if I'm charging, even if I'm lowballing at 15 bucks, I'm making 12 bucks for this mug. Now, this is where it helps to have templates ready, because if you're spending an hour designing it, well, you're losing money. So if somebody wants a completely custom design, charge for your design time. But if you have a template, you could just crank these out, just swap out the photograph, and boom, this mug is, if you have a template ready to roll, you can have this mug from start to finish in like 6 minutes. So you just made, on the low end, $12 in 6 minutes, and on the high end, you made, closer to 20. It's very profitable. You just have to be smart about what you're doing. Our pals over at Sawgrass themselves, they have a really, really great webinar that they did with us. If you scroll back on our YouTube channel, you'll find it, on making money with sublimation. I even did a webinar, making money with sublimation mugs specifically. So you definitely want to check those out. Moving forward, top tips. I'll let you just freeze frame on this. Take a screenshot. The right supply items really do make your life a whole lot easier, whether it's the right printer, the right paper, the right ink, the right heat. Like, you don't have to go like a zillion dollars deep into this. But what's really gonna suck is if you buy a discount heat press and it conks out halfway through your run. Helps to buy quality equipment that's backed up by a quality company. And I'm gonna be real, I'm talking about me. I'm talking about Heat Press Nation. I'm talking about us here at Heat Press Nation. We back up all of our products with free lifetime tech support and a 1-year warranty that now you can even extend to up to 4 years. More info on that on our website. I also recommend testing new products. So especially if it's something you've never done before, buy a few extra to do some tests, some samples, do a wash test. just make sure that you know what you're doing before you offer it for sale. Otherwise, it could cause some problems down the line with your customers. And then the last two, learn how to beat your two worst, or at least your most annoying enemies, press marks and ghosting. I'm going to talk about press marks right now. And then I'll also talk about ghosting. That's going to be in our live tutorial. Lastly, and we're going to move to the actual demonstration right now. If you have a sub-emergency, just kidding, it doesn't have to be an emergency. Reach out for support. I can't say it enough. Reach out for support. We have some really awesome friends in our Heat Press Nation creators group. That's the first link you're going to see, heat.press/FB group. We have tons of tutorials on our YouTube channel. Like I said, free lifetime tech support on anything you purchase from us. And then anything else, you have a question, you want to know what press is going to be best for you, give us a call, 800-215-0894. Our hours are right there on screen. And then links and stuff. This is probably more helpful for the download. So again, head on over to our Facebook group after this, and then you could see the download. Okay, so now it's time for our live tutorial. I'm going to pause and take some questions. Okay. Am I going to speak about different papers and masks? I'm not going to talk about the mask today. I will be showing you how I use my TextPrint DT Light sublimation paper. The process is identical to using the DT Heavy. I just like the results of the light a little bit better. But I'm not going to be talking, I don't have a sample ready for the mask. So we have other tutorials on YouTube about how to use the masks. I'd recommend using that. I just don't have a sample ready to test live. I do apologize. Okay, Verina's asking, if you want to do both garments and other things other than textiles, do you have to have two different printers, one each for each of your sublimation inks? Nope. I think whichever one you're going to do more of, choose your ink based on that. So if you were going to do a lot of this and a little bit of this, go for Sublijet. If you're going to do a lot of this and a little bit of this, go for EasySubli. And if you're split right up the middle, I would go with Sublijet. That's my personal preference, would be Sublijet. You don't really need two separate ink systems for your sublimation with that. Diane Davis is saying, do you need templates to do them efficiently? Efficient, yes, that's the key word right there. So what I do for Mother's Day or for Christmas is I will spend some time on my own, make 1 or 2 or 3 templates that are really nice, and then when I'm advertising, I'll say your photo here. So all I'm doing is just swapping out a custom picture and maybe the message. Maybe it says Barbosa Family Christmas 2021, and for the next family, theirs will say Smith Family Christmas, So I'm doing very minor, very quick edits on my existing template. That brings my time spent per job way the heck down. So I'm just making more money quicker. I'm spending less time per job. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want something totally custom, then you got to build them for your design work too. But if someone they're just buying an ornament and they're cool with my template, I'll just have them send me the text and send me a photo. And I just pop that in there, and that's included in the price. Maria is saying, can you sublimate a black image without the shirt being a high polyester count? Yeah, so if you have like a black graphic that's going on to a shirt, that'll look good on a colored shirt, even if it's polyester or if it's like cotton poly. If it's cotton poly, it's going to fade a little bit, but you could do it. Gabrielle's asking, hey, where do I get the shirt heat press insert? We have the sock insert on our website. Great question. We don't sell a t-shirt insert. I'm in my demo that I'm about to get to right now. I just use parchment paper, and I'll show you exactly how that works. Okay, let's see. Thomas is saying, if we did not want to print directly onto EasySubli, would printing on any sublimation paper work to transfer the image to EasySubli? Yes, you could do that as well. You could just cut out the blank white on your EasySubli, press it to your shirt, and then with your sublimation printer, just sub that onto the EasySubli. Yes, you can sublimate onto EasySubli after it's been pressed if it's still blank. Julio, that's a great question. Are you guys having any sales for Black Friday? You know what? Yes, we are, and I'm going to show you real quick. We're just going to head back to this really quick before I get to our live tutorial. Heatpressnation.com. We got Sawgrass. We got their inks. We got heat transfer paper, Sublijet mugs, heat presses, and more. All these heat presses and products, actually, this should be everything that's on sale. All these are on sale right now, with more to come starting this Monday. Again, this Monday, starting this Monday. Where is it? There we go. You could text the word heat. Sorry, I had to make sure I did that right. You could text the word heat to 20198 and you'll get text updates on all the latest and greatest sale items that are coming out for Black Friday. On Monday, we're adding more stuff to the sale. On Tuesday, more stuff. And every day of the week next week through Black Friday, we're adding more and more stuff every day. So new deals every day. I'll be coming live to announce them so we can talk. You can ask me questions about them. I've used most of the stuff here. So if it's a press you have a question about, I've probably used it. If it's a blank, I've probably used it. So yeah, feel free to hit me up with questions live. Any other questions here? Face diapers. That's hilarious, Brian Lofton. Face diapers. That's what it feels like. The ink is not cheap for the SG500. That's true. And that's why you don't pay for your ink. Your customers do. Every job that you're taking with your sublimation printer, you should be factoring in an ink cost and then putting that money aside for when it is time to re-up on your ink. Otherwise, yeah, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt the same if you have to buy a roll of vinyl, if you have to buy anything really, any supplies. When I have to buy my poly mailers, I buy them in a pack of like 200, and I'm like, oh, those are expensive. Not really. They're only like 10 cents each, and that price should be factored into the shipping and handling costs. I'm not even going to get into that. All right. You guys want to see a demo? I'm going to do a demo. Let's do this really quick here. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, now I know what I'm doing. Okay. Sorry, guys. Really quick. I'm going to show you how this is done. So here we have Adobe Photoshop, and let me blow this up so you guys can see it as close as possible. Adobe Photoshop, and I'm just going to close this. So this is usually how it looks when you open it up. I'm going to click on Create New. Now, my t-shirt, I want to take advantage of my full 8.5 by 11. You can see that I have it recently. Otherwise, right here, you just type in 8.5, 11 inches high. You want to be at least 300 pixels per inch. RGB color, 8-bit should be fine. White background, create, and here we go. All right, now there's a graphic that I already have that I really like, so I'm just going to drag it in here. You see me dragging that in. There we go. I use this for my white toner test, and I really wanted to use it today. So I'm just going to import it, check it off, layers, there we go. Or I can hide it. I mean, you can do whatever you want in Photoshop. This is not a Photoshop tutorial, but if it was, I would, you know, I don't know, you could type whatever you want. And this is really horrible of me to do this, but like, you know, if you have text, you could really, whatever you could put on here. If you're pasting an image, paste it in here, do whatever you want. But I'm going to hide that. This is what I want to print. So if you're printing from Photoshop, you're going to go to File, print all the way down here, and then you're going to select Sawgrass Print Manager. Do not send it to the SG500 directly. You want to send it to Sawgrass Print Manager. That looks good. I'm going to click Print, and then now what's going to happen is Sawgrass Print Manager is going to open up, and it's going to look like this. It's already loaded. It's because I already sized it in Print Manager. I'm sorry, because I already sized it in Photoshop, it's perfectly sized when I open Print Manager. I'm doing this on a polyester shirt. Now, I'm using TextPrint DT Heavy. They don't have it listed here, so my default is just TruePix Classic. Even though I'm not using that paper, it's pretty good default. Layout is just going to preserve layout from Designer, which is, I already formatted it. Jobs, of course, if I wanted multiple copies, that's where you do it. And then color, I usually change it to vivid. The default is photographic, but vivid will get you slightly better. I'm all about increased saturation and contrast. And then even then, you could still adjust it here. So if you want to fine tune it, if your colors are not coming out right, like you could just mess with everything here. You can adjust your contrast, your brightness, saturation. Like that looks horrible, but I mean, you can do it. Let's click reset. We're gonna go. I'm gonna stick with the defaults using the vivid color mode. This little circle is green, which means it's ready to go. And I'm gonna click print. Now the other option is, and it's not on this taskbar, but if you click the Sawgrass Print Manager icon and you click Open Local File, it'll bring it to you. You say, please select the file you wish to print. Now this is not properly sized. So this is what happens when you select an item that has not been properly sized in Photoshop. You're probably going to get this warning, and that's when you're going to head over to Jobs. And I don't know, what I do is just drop that down till it fits. You can just lower this too. I mean, I don't know. You could just, this is why I don't like importing photos directly. I usually pass it, not usually, I always pass it through Photoshop just to make sure that everything's going to be sized correctly, but otherwise this is good to go. And we're done with Photoshop now. So now let me get you on over to camera 2. And I'm going to show you my transfer really quick. I'm going to check in on questions. If anybody has any questions, we're getting to our live demo now. I just printed it on my Sawgrass SG500, not the 1000. I wish. Diana's saying, I'm excited, but how do you get over the fear of using the machines? They are intimidating me. You know what? You just got to do it. I'm going to share a quick personal story. So I hate the gym. I absolutely do. And I was super intimidated by it. And I just had to, honestly, I just had to get over it and go. And I feel like that's the way it is. If you have your machine already, I've heard so many stories of, oh yeah, my heat press is still in the box. And I'm like, oh no. You just got to rip that Band-Aid off. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this, you're going to mess up. You will mess up. So yeah, just get over it. Once you get your mess ups out of the way, you can get your good stuff going. So here's the print. You'll notice that it is in reverse, and that's because we're going to place it ink side down. Now there's a lot of ink coverage on here. I don't think it's going to get in focus. There's a lot of ink coverage here. So I'm just going to let it dry for a second. Usually it's pretty quick drying on the transfer paper. You could do this. Some people, they'll just hover it. Like I'm not going to press it like that, but I'm just going to let it cook for a second. Not cook, but let it dry off under the heat, you know. Now, someone was asking earlier about an insert. This is a regular t-shirt, by the way. I preloaded it because I hate doing this where my arm blocks the whole view, but this is a Holloway Dry XL adult t-shirt, size medium, made in Mexico, 100% polyester. I got this from, I think I got this from TSC. I don't even remember where I got this from. TSC or Jiffy Shirts. Now, if we open it up, there's a piece of parchment paper that I put inside. And that's because most 100% polyester t-shirts are pretty thin. So if you don't put something inside to block it, your top graphic just might bleed through onto the back. So I always recommend putting a piece of parchment paper inside. Here's the cool part about sublimation, guys, and girls, everybody, is I just printed it out, and to get it on my shirt, I'm just going to put it there. I'm going to center it. There we go. It's about centered. That's it. I printed it. I'm placing it down, and I don't know where my parchment paper is. Give me 1 second. I usually have it around here. There it is. So I always recommend, if you're doing sublimation, like I have my pro grade non-stick sheet right here. That's great for vinyl. But because with sublimation, sometimes you could have some of this bleed out. I don't want that to stain my pro grade. So I'm going to use a disposable piece of parchment paper. So if it does stain the cover sheet, that's okay. I'm just going to throw it away. My pressure has already been set before, but just so you know, we're at about like a medium firm pressure. You know, that might even be too much. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. You don't need, someone asked us, can you have too much pressure with sublimation? Yes, you can. My temperature is set to 385. My time is set to 60 seconds. I have, there we go, just a very gentle medium pressure on there. I'm going to leave the camera on there so you know we're not doing any tricks. Let me check to see if we have any questions though. Stevie is asking, does that 100% polyester shirt site need a tax exempt? So if you're ordering, I'm pretty sure I got this from Jiffy Shirts. I'm like 90% sure. Jiffy Shirts, you don't need a tax exempt certificate, but you will end up paying tax. So the only way to get out of sales tax is to have that tax exempt certificate. Let's see. Kathy Willard says, do press marks come out if you press too much? Yes. Press marks, so to get rid of the press marks, and I'll show you guys that right now. I'll show you what I use. Actually, they stole it. A pressing pillow. Let me grab a pressing pillow real quick once I open this up. I'll talk about press marks right now because we got like 5 seconds left, and I don't want this to burn. So here we go. And you saw it all. I printed this. There's some little vapors coming out. They're non-toxic, but I'm still not trying to breathe them in anyways because, you know, you don't know. Gently remove your cover sheet. What you don't want to do is you do not want this transfer to shift in any way while it's still hot because, again, the ink, it's a gas dye. So if it shifts, it could re-imprint in a new area, causing blurring or ghosting or just a really awkward second imprint of your graphic. So I usually just give it a second before I peel. And then when you peel, I usually just up and off. Nothing hard about it. And dude, that looks fantastic. That looks pretty doggone amazing. I'm going to have to show it to the other camera because I can't, this is not, wait, are we on autofocus? I think we are on autofocus. Oh, and then let's see. Did it go through? Oh, not really. So, but just in case, it's good to have it in there. Okay, let me see if we can get this to show in focus. Look how bold and vibrant those colors are. The darks are very dark, the lights are very light, and it looks fantastic. Now, here's the other cool thing about it. This is the softest thing you'll ever touch. You literally cannot feel it. You cannot feel the ink whatsoever because we dyed it. And this is very, very permanent. You could wash this shirt a gazillion times and the garment, like the material, might start to degrade. And if you do see it fading, it's not because the ink's fading, it's because you actually are like abrading the surface of this garment. So that's how easy that was. Now, I don't know if we have enough time. If we do, I have a wood photo panel that I'm going to show you guys, but I'm going to take some questions right now. And if anyone feels like sticking around, I'll show you how we do that wood photo panel. Okay, so press marks, we do require a pressing pillow. So now a pressing pillow, and let me grab one real quick. Okay, got my trusty pressing pillow here. Okay, so here's how we use a pressing pillow to eliminate press marks. So I'm going to get my t-shirt back, coming back to camera, don't worry, didn't abandon you guys. So if we look at this t-shirt, sorry, wood photo panel. This is a pressing pillow, and this is actually too big for the press that I'm using today, but we're just using it to illustrate a point. It's the only one I have right here. So if you look at this one, it's actually not that bad, actually. Now, the problem with polyester garments is that polyester garments or synthetic materials, they tend to scorch at the temperatures required for sublimation. So I'm not sure if you could see this slight crease right here. You probably can't because it's too faint to be shown. But basically the heat press left a slight imprint on my garment. So what a pressing pillow does is because the edges of the pillow are kind of rounded off, instead of the heat press leaving that hard edge, you're going to have a soft edge. You're going to have a soft edge on the garment. And so while you may still scorch this area of the garment, because the edges are softened out, it's not going to be as harsh of an imprint mark. So the press mark is eliminated because the heat press is flat, and this edge is kind of rounded off a little bit. So the press marks, that's what you're going to use. I'm sorry, the pressing pillow is what you're going to use to eliminate your press marks. Now let me say this. Do your testing first because some t-shirts just suck. There's no other way to put it. They just suck. They're very sensitive to the heat and they're gonna scorch no matter what. I've had some shirts, I've used the pressing pillows, I've done every trick in the book and it's still scorching the area, so it still looks ugly. So if that's the case, switch to a different brand. That's the only way to get around it. You just gotta switch to a different brand. Okay, I'm coming back over here. Gonna take, let me grab my iPad. You're going to take all your questions, and then if anybody feels like sticking around, if we have time, because it is 12 o'clock, we're at our hour mark. If anybody has time, maybe we'll show you guys that. Where am I? I'm back. See, I told you I didn't leave you guys. Yeah, so here it is. This is the t-shirt we just made. And this transfer, so if you want easy, full color, 100% durable, permanent, soft transfers, it's the best you're gonna get is sublimation. I think the only problem would be like steering your customers into a polyester garment. Okay, let's get to some questions here. Diane Davis, should you always trim your paper around the image? Would that change it? No, there's no need. That's the cool thing about sublimation is only the ink transfers onto the garment. So it's not like inkjet transfer paper where you have to trim it out. There's no cutting involved. Only the ink goes on the garment. That's a great question. Can you print and save later? How do you store your prints if not printing right away? How long do you have to wait for the ink to dry after printing before you can press? Usually my ink is dry within about 30 seconds to a minute. And then can you store and save them? I'm sure you can. So we've had some transfers. I haven't tested this long term, but I've had some transfers that I printed out like a couple weeks, and then just for fun I pressed it and it looked great. Of course, we officially recommend that you just print them as needed, but you could in theory store them. I've only tested it up to a few weeks, so that's all I feel comfortable recommending. If you want to store them longer, that's kind of at your own risk. We do recommend just printing them on demand. Okay, let's see. If anyone's tested print storage longer, let me know. Diane Davis, I see a lot of people do the bleaching, etc. Not safe, or yes, it's okay? Yeah, it's very safe. I mean, so what she's referring to is having a 50-50 t-shirt, a colored t-shirt, bleaching a portion of it, and then sublimating in that bleached area. Yeah, that's great. A lot of our customers and friends in the Facebook group have had great results with that. And the bleach is safe as long as it's washed out. And part of the process does involve washing out the bleach before applying the sublimation transfer onto it. So it should be totally safe. Kind of similar to tie-dyeing it. Like if you're okay with a home tie-dye job, then you should be okay with the home bleach job. Of course, be safe. All right, everybody, be safe. Use your glove and your breathing protection or whatever. Be safe when doing that, of course. If you sublimate a picture or image, can you then add words to it? Or do you need to put it all on the original image? Also, does sublimating on top of an image that has been pressed already mess it up? This is Beverly asking it. So the first part of the question, can you add words to it later? Yeah, so if I wanted to add some heat transfer vinyl to this, I could. And that's because heat transfer vinyl presses really low and really quick, 305 degrees for about 10 seconds for most vinyl. So it's not going to affect this. Now, if I wanted to add a second sublimation print to this, I probably wouldn't, because the ink that's on here, it's going to get reactivated and it could potentially burn under a second pressing. So I would recommend trying to get all of your sublimation, all your image into one press if possible. Does sublimating on top of an image that's been, yeah, it would mess it up because of it could burn the inks that are already there. Jane is asking, how do you know what the pressure is if you don't have a gauge? That's a great question. And Jane, I'm going to put a link here really quick. heat.press/paper test. So look for my latest comment. And we recommend the paper pressure test. It's very easy. That's going to get you to medium pressure. For sublimation t-shirts, you kind of go a little bit lighter than medium. So do the paper pressure test and dial back just a little, and you should be just fine. Okay. Let me check in with our YouTube family. YouTube fam, how you guys doing? Holding out strong? I sure hope so. Let's see. Let's get to these questions here. Trying to open this here. There we go. When making a jersey, should I press the sublimation logo first or the vinyl numbers? I would do sublimation first. So anytime you're pressing different types of transfers, you want to go with the hottest press first. So because sublimation goes 385 degrees for 60 seconds, I'm going to press that first. And then my vinyl is, usually we're around 305, 310 for about 15 seconds. So the hotter, crazier press is going to go first. And then the lesser temperature press, that's going to go second. Is it possible, Farp Street is asking, is it possible to sublimate on etched glass versus frosted glass? No, that's actually not off topic. So you want to make sure that the glass has been coated for sublimation. So the frosted glass, and I'll show these really quick here, if I could bring it up. So we do have some frosted glass items now. Not only are these frosted, but they are, there we go. Not only are these frosted, but they're also coated for sublimation. So we have these 10-ounce frosted glass mugs, these 16-ounce frosted glass steins, and then these really cool 12-ounce frosted mason jars. So not only are they frosted, but they are coated for sublimation. So if you etch some glass, I think the etching would burn away any coating. So I don't think it would work for an etch. So whether you're laser or chemical etching your glass, that would probably remove any coating that would allow it to accept the sublimation transfer. So I don't think it would work. I honestly do not think that would work. Oh, that's a great point. So T-Town Shirts is saying, when they ask you how do you get rid of the lines from the paper, just repress the shirt with the paper on top with high pressure. Yeah, so if your sublimation sheet, and I have a spare right here, if this transfer is leaving a mark, then just repress it with parchment paper, and that should kind of flatten it out and get rid of that initial mark from the paper itself. Okay, do we got any more questions? I thank you guys so much for joining me today. Really quick before I let you go, I'm just going to recap one more time that we have our crazy Black Friday sale, and it's just getting started. Not really. It's been started since I think Halloween week we started putting stuff on sale for Black Friday. And honestly, we have a blast here. We love putting things on sale. And we're really happy that this year, I think last year, our Black Friday sale was kind of weak because everybody was struggling with supply issues. But thankfully, we're coming to the end of that. And we actually have a lot of stuff that we're able to put on sale for our awesome, awesome friends. You guys, our customers, our clients. We love you guys. And so, yeah, we're really happy to be able to have this on sale. So check this out. Lots of stuff. And there's more. By the way, By the way, if you text the word heat to 20198, you can be the first to know when we have our new deals launched. So next week, starting on Monday. Monday, we have new items being on sale. Tuesday, more items. Thursday, more items. Every day until Black Friday, more items. And then again, on Cyber Monday, we're adding more items. So if you want to be notified, again, text the word heat. It's right there on your screen. Text heat to 20198. And that way you can be notified when we have new stuff on sale. And I think that's it. We have Sawgrass stuff on sale today. I'm checking my notes, making sure I don't forget anything. Yeah, Sawgrass stuff on sale. We got lots of cool stuff. Any last questions before we go? Do you have a video where you show how to print larger prints? I have an SG500. Let's do that real quick. What the heck? We're going to close out with a tutorial. So we're going to go back over to Photoshop. So now for this, you'd probably want to have it like set. So what I do when I need to use the 8.5 by 14 inch size feature on my SG500, or actually I have the 400, same thing. Let's create a new image, right? I'm gonna set my paper size, my canvas, whatever you want to call it, my project size to 8.5 by 14. I'm gonna create it, and then honestly, I just want to duplicate this layer to my other. Okay. Now this is horrible. Don't ever do this, guys. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna stretch this. This is ugly. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to make a point on using the 8.5 by 14 inch size. All right, that's ugly. I apologize. We're gonna print this. I'm still gonna send it to Print Manager, but look, it's getting clipped in my print settings. I'm gonna change my size from letter to legal. Legal is 8.5 by 14. And now it's been resized, and now I'll do that again. So, and this is in Photoshop. It might be different depending on what program you're printing from, but since I have this open, I'm gonna go to print settings, and this is gonna adjust my Sawgrass Print Manager document properties. Set my size to legal. Okay, and I'm gonna send this to print, and it's gonna open up in Sawgrass Print Manager. Where is my Sawgrass Print Manager? It's coming up. There it is. And so now when it gets into Sawgrass Print Manager, it knows it's in the 8.5 by 14. So of course I have to adjust my paper tray size, but now it's ready to go. I'm going to click cancel. We're going to do one more thing. We're going to save this as a JPEG. Oh, sorry, save as copy. Geez. There it is, JPEG. We're going to give it a funny title so it's easy to find. And now this part, it's on my other screen, so you're not seeing this, but I'm going to open a local file. There we go, in Sawgrass. And I'm going to go to downloads, I think. There it is. All right, now I'm opening this local file in Sawgrass Print Manager, and it should automatically adjust. So we say, now if we make Print Manager perform the layout, and I select the 8.5 by 11, notice that it's not going to fit. I'm going to go over here now, and I'm going to switch it to 8.5 by 14, and that's how I'm going to get that size. Boom, boom, boom. If I wanted to print, I'd send it to print, but I don't want to print. So there we go. All right, so that's going to do it for me. I think that's all the questions I have here right now. Verena's asking, when will the Signature Series 7 be available, the 7-in-1 mug press? So here's the deal with the 7-in-1 mug press, and let's go. Sorry, let's go. I thought I was done. Let's go back to the screen. So here's the deal with the 7-in-1 mug press. We're going to go to our mug presses. You're talking about this one. So I believe, and it's saying added to cart, it's a pre-order. All right, so this mug press, along with most, if not all of the smaller attachments, they're ready to ship. If you order if you do the pre-order, you're actually going to get your press and small attachments within about a week or so. The part that's on pre-order is this, the tall tumbler attachment, or more specifically, this one. The skinny tumbler attachment. This piece is on back order, and we are not expected to ship it until early December. That is our current expectation on when we're getting more. If you want to pre-order it, go ahead. If you do pre-order the 7-in-1, you'll get everything except this, or most, I'm pretty sure most of the attachments. Don't quote me on that just yet. You can call in if you want specifics. You'll get the press and the attachments, but this tall, skinny attachment won't ship until about early December. So that's what's up with the 7-in-1. Of course, you could add it to your cart right now, and then, yep, it explains everything. So we want to make sure that you guys are fully informed and aware. Click OK if you're cool with that, and then you can go to your shopping cart. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, I'm pretty sure that was the last question. Let me just see it. Let me see it. I'm a teacher who is starting up a student-led print shop. Any suggestions for how to introduce sublimation printing to high school students? Okay, that's my new favorite question, and I'm for sure going to close with that. Thank you so much, Julie. You got to get the kids stoked on stuff. So maybe you have them all, everybody pick a picture, all right? and then you have them get their sizes in advance, and everybody gets their own t-shirt. So they can each select their own picture to put on their own t-shirt. They get to express themselves. They get to have a cool t-shirt. And maybe it's not a t-shirt, maybe it's their own coffee mug, or maybe it's their own tumbler. These are a little expensive, but you know, if you guys have a cool like funding, pretty cool. I would say get the students stoked on the finish. It's easier to get kids excited about a finished product than an entire process. So maybe you have them make, you show them a cool shirt, you give everybody a custom shirt, and then through that process you say, hey, this is what you could do with sublimation, and oh wow, oh that's a cool, thank you Mrs. whoever. I'm sorry I didn't get your last name, but you know, Mrs. your last name. But you know, get them excited about this, and then they'll pay more attention as they're learning the process of importing images. And then you could, you know, when they bring in their images, you could take that time to show them Photoshop or different elements of the process. And then heat presses, they're fun because they get really hot and they're dangerous, and kids are attracted to dangerous things. So yeah, that'd be my suggestion. And I think that's going to do it for me today. I'm a little bit over time, but honestly, thank you guys so much for joining. We had a lot of information to cover. So once again, my slideshow that I was sharing today, that is going to be available in our Facebook group. So, and in that Facebook group, I'm going to share the link. You're going to have all these links and stuff, links to where I get my where I personally source my blanks from, including sublimation blanks. And then also my recommendations for the equipment that you're going to need to get started on your heat press sublimation journey. We're very happy to answer any questions you have. You can reach out to us online through our chat feature. You could email us at support@heatpressnation.com, or you can also, actually, can I show, where am I? Yes, here we go. You can go to heat.press/support, and that'll take you to support. You can give us a call at 800-215-0894. Once again, my name is Jared with Heat Press Nation. It's been my absolute pleasure. I gotta go, but I really hope to see you guys around. Again, even if you're watching the replay, comment below. We're gonna go through and make sure all the questions are answered that I didn't get the chance to answer live on the air. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you around.